Morning, viewers. Thank you very much. Welcome to Punchline Africa Television, broadcasting from the Political Command Center right in Nairobi, Kenya. Is Miriam Ogutu. Good morning, Miriam.
Doc, a very good morning to you. Good morning to our viewers. Good morning to our panelists. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on where they're tuning in this day.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Miriam. Good morning, Paul Onyango, right in Nairobi. It's a community television, and we are happy that you join us. Whatever you want, whatever it is, this is your television. Good morning, Paul Onyango.
Good morning to you, Daktari.
Thank you very much. You are joining us from CBD. Which place of Nairobi are you talking about?
From near Kawangware.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you, brother. Thank you very much. Live, we shall get stories live from Kawangware. Thank you, my economist. I call him my economist because he pronounced one of the best words that defeats me every day to pronounce, stats. Instead, I say stats. I can't say statistics. You see, I've already made a mistake. Thank you very much. Every human being has got nature. Gladwell, don't laugh at me. Good morning, Gladwell.
A very good morning. A very good morning to Doc. Good morning to Miriam. Good morning to my fellow panelists and to our viewers.
Thank you very much. That word, every human being has a word that it defeats him. Miriam always laughs at me when it reaches that word starts. She says, that one, I don't know how it is going to be pronounced. But thank you very much. I now have somebody on the show who will be pronouncing for me. Good morning, Daniel Sean Wesonga. Good morning. It's a Friday morning. How is the money market? You should be telling us the food index. You should be telling us the Wall Street. What is going on in the Wall Street food index? Japan in the Naira, of Nigeria, the dollar, the Zim dollar, the South African Rand, John Downs. Can you see how this guy is well versed with all those things? What is going on? You are in the money market. Is there a problem?
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Matsanga David, and a very good morning to you this particular morning, and I'm happy to see you on the panel, and of course my colleague panelist Gladwell Kirago, my brother Paul Otieno, and of course my colleague in our headquarters, Miriam Ogutu, and our viewers this particular morning. Maybe just to take you through whatever is doing in the market today. Those who are
hold the fire. When we call you, that's the first thing you can start on.
All right. Okay.
But thank me very much for being very knowledgeable about your financing costs.
Of course, Dr. Matsanga. My pleasure.
That is what I expected you to say. Thank you very much, Dr. Matsanga, for having knowledge. Got knowledge from the Downs, the Food Index, the bond. What is a Eurobond? He was asking us, the first Eurobond was eaten. People thought it was a bread. So, what is the Eurobond? Wesonga, get ready and opinion. Thank you very much. Good morning. I am Dr. David Matsanga from the Political Command Center in Kenya, in Mombasa. Thank you very much. Good morning. And Miriam, let's go straight to Miriam back in the capital city at the headquarters of Punchline Africa TV to bring us the news headlines. So many good things have happened this week for Azimio. And first, I want to do a disclaimer. I'm a supporter of Azimio. Where Uhuru Kenyatta says to go, I go. How high he wants me to jump, I jump. How low he wants me to jump again, I jump. Only that. I cannot take an order to kill myself. Yeah, I jump with conscience. But if he says, jump, let's go, I will go with him. I keep the legacy, protect the legacy, defend the legacy of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. And whenever you see me anywhere in town, I am the legacy boy. I have no regrets. He didn't pay me. He's not paying me to protect it. I am protecting it for the future generation. I'm writing books together now with Onyango. We shall team up. We are going to write a very good book on handshake. This is an economics degree holder. Some people are struggling to get the degrees now. And there's already people who have knowledge here. Onyango, we
Yes,
are going to
sir.
write that economic, a handshake. It becomes Onyango Matsanga theory. You know, if we leave it, Wazungu are going to take it from us. I've already cooperated through my lawyer. So nobody's going to touch it. Anybody coming now, we knock him out. Let's prepare our notes. Thank you very much. Back to Miriam. In the studios of Punchline Africa Television, always this, the television in the Sub-Saharan Africa that talks about Africa, that sings about Africa, that defends Africa, and above all, criticizes positively on African issues. There you go.
Very well. Thank you for that. The leading newspapers this morning, the Daily Nation, the main headline, do they even care? The nation is staring at a humanitarian crisis of monumental proportions in the lowlands of Baringo, where bandits roam every night. The combined effects of drought and insecurity have robbed thousands of their livelihoods, while millions across the country can barely afford to put a meal on the table every day. The cost of living is rising and agriculture is battered by rising cost of inputs, yet there appears to be no political will to stop this descent into anarchy. In this special report, the nation is asking leaders who are spending hundreds of millions of shillings on the campaign trail every month a simple question: do you even care? That is the main headline. Then just down there, IEBC doesn't know the polling centers without 3G network. Interesting. And then coming soon, Mali family planning pill, not Mali but male. At 40, mother of two finally sits KCSE exams. That is on page 3. The Standard newspaper, the main headline, running mate, best bets for Raila and Ruto. That is the main headline. Congo all set to join East Africa community, and Kenya's Fuliza's 1.6 billion Kenya shillings on average a day. That is on page 4. That is what Kenyans Fuliza per day. Squatters get 600 acres from church. That is on page 25. Live and Times of top diplomat Albright. She passed on yesterday, Madeleine Albright, the former Secretary of State of the U.S. And while retail prices of milk has been rising, that is on page 28. The Star newspaper, Raila Ruto dilemma in fierce county battles, consensus yet to work in counties where big guns are running against each other. That is on page 4 and 5. And the Jubilee Party makes comeback, attracts aspirants in key regions. That is on the pullout on page 5 on the Siasa pullout. And uproar as goons attack journalists in Raila's event. That is on page 2. Lack of 3G network could hamper IBC 2022 results transmission. That is on page 6 on the Star newspapers. That is what we have on the front pages of the leading newspapers in Kenya. Doc, back to you.
Thank you very much, Miriam, and thank you very much, the panel, the viewers, and those also watching from home and listening carefully. This is a very, very sad matter that the nation has brought up. The Daily Nation, Your Excellency President, and Your Excellency, the Right Honorable Minister, Your Excellency, the Deputy President of Republic of Kenya, or the Republic of Huda. I don't know which one he is because he's halfway. But Mr. Deputy President, with due respect, you are holding on a constitutional post. You have allowed emotions to take this country through. I would like to make an appeal on behalf of millions and millions of people watching who are suffering, undergoing this terrible scourge. The scourge, year in, year out, this scourge has been there. But if you go back to ask, the question is, how much money has the government been pumping into these same arid and arid areas? If someone could do Wesonga next Monday by Tuesday, Monday, give me the amount of money of all the arid areas that have been mentioned by the government. How much in Kenyan billions that has been sunk in for the last 10 years? Because if we go back, it would be a lot. Has this money been utilized to look for water? Has this money been utilized to change the lives of the people of Northeastern? Or in the same arid and arid areas? Is this money being used properly? We might ask these leaders, do they care? But to the men who collected the money, who collected the checks, Miriam, who collected the checks from the treasury, do they care? The Daily Nation should have gone further to bring governors of these same arid areas and the arid areas of Kenya to accountability. The Daily Nation should have talked about, starting with Turkana, with a huge lake which has existed for millions and millions, volcanic lake in the corridors of the Rift Valley. Remember the Great Eastern Rift Valley. I think most of you who studied geography, all of us on this panel, we are drawing those two types of Rift Valleys. Turkana Lake, Turkana sits in the rift, in one of the rift sites. It has been there for millions and millions of years. How much have we done even to pump water from there and turn it and put chemicals so that people can drink? How much money has been pumped in these arid areas? That is the question. That is me asking the question. Have we ever thought, instead of asking, do they care? But do you care to ask your governor the billions and the billions of money that has been pumped in by devolution? Has Nanok not used this money to build apartments in Nairobi? If you look at all the governors of same areas, all of them are under EACC. Tell me who is not under investigation from there. They start. The governor of Turkana, they are pending cases. The Kamata situation wanted to take him, he had to hide in Kenya, in Nairobi, and in Ruto's house. The governor of Samburu, the governor of Masabit, the governor of Isiolo, the governor of Wanjir, the governor of Moyale. Is it Moyale? It's only Mandela. That great friend of mine, is it?
Robert.
Robert. You see the type of allegations. The governor of Garissa. If there is any governor, the governor of Tana River, you see that those are the areas we are talking about, why we are crying Sirikari's idea. Sirikari's idea, Sirikari's idea every time. The governor of Nyeri, I'm shocked Nyeri also comes in, where Gladwell will have to tell me how Nyeri, a productive area, ended up to be a semi-arid area. And there are some areas in Nyeri that are semi-arid. Yes, they need food. One of the problems that makes Kenya and the Kenyans sad, Onyango, is food. Yes, food and corruption. One of the problems that makes Ugandans look fertile like Matanga is food. I am fertile. You know, they insult me every day on Onyango, so I have nothing to say.
Yes, I know.
Ugandans are happy people, not because they are happy, but because there is chakula. They don't call out for relief. That's why when the index was being done worldwide, they found them better, the most happiest people in East Africa, because they have food. That's why Ugandans cannot demonstrate for more than a half an hour. You cannot call a demonstration in Kampala for more than a half an hour. You cannot. Thank you very much. You cannot. If you call for a demonstration in Kampala and you expect a Ugandan to follow you, by the time you reach the City Square Medium and look back, you will be only you and your wife and your placard. The rest would have gone home.
Why? They're cowards.
Thank you very much. Today I want you to interact with me. And you people don't keep quiet. Interact with us. Come in if something is paining you, like if that thing is paining Miriam.
No, it's not paining me. I'm just asking, why are they going back? Are they cowards or they're
not
fed?
paining, but it itches you. Okay, let's use it.
It doesn't itch me. It doesn't. I'm just asking a question. It's not itching me at all.
Yes.
Yeah.
The question, the answer is very simple. They are not cowards.
Okay.
They have food. A man who has food does not care what you are going to talk about. But a hungry man sees, even now Addison democracy is lacking, he will fight you. But a man who has food like Baganda there, they have food. Baganda make us fight every day. I'm honest. And you as a Mugisu, like my tribe, to start engaging yourself there. And let me tell you, Medium, if you look at the history of Uganda, you are not cowards. I'm not a coward, for example. I want to tell you, I'm not a coward. I'm the only Bantu man on earth who stood with Luos. And Museveni never threatened me. He threatened me and I left. I said, okay, we go to table, but I'm not coming home. Let's go to table in Juba. So is that cowardice? No. I stood firm. When other people in Uganda were calling us that we are calling people. You hear me now? Yes, that region there. They were calling us. This is what Dugudu. This is what Dugudu. What Dugudu means, the black dark people. This we are fed up with these guys. Kill them all of them. Are you hearing me?
Yes, yes.
I stood up, Miriam, I said, you want to kill all these guys? You want to kill them? The Bantu army was going to finish the northern part of Uganda. There would be no living soul there. I want to tell you, the Luos are not cowards. I never mistake them to be cowards. They came back, they produced three. Let me tell you, they produced three rebel organizations. Are those cowards? Are those cowards? Three, Lakwena, Basilio Okero, UPF, Otai. Look at the rebels. The West Nile Bank. Actually, they produced 7 rebel groups. Rebel fighting active. And they made the area cut off.
It's called the Home of Veterans.
Yes, thank you very much. But the group that is a coward group, I want to tell you frankly, and you are right to bring this out, is that group there that eats food. What do you marry? What do you marry? What do you katoko? What do you bijanjaro? Bijanjaro, granny nuts, fish, some tune from Lake Victoria. They eat. If you look behind, haven't you seen me quiet? Miriam, don't you see Matanga quiet? You think Matanga is quiet, isn't it? Matanga, This was the man on BBC Focus on Africa. Go back and hear my voice. The good thing is that BBC does not kill voices. This is the boy. This is the man who was warning them. This is the giraffe. A giraffe with Songa. This is the boy. I was young, small, slender, tall. I was always on Focus on Africa. I said, no, you people will see later. You are now singing, saying, Obote is very bad. Now you said we are very bad. Go home. They even told me, you know, they accused me that I carry ears, the ears that coney cats, I put them in a briefcase and I sell them. Haven't you come across that? So now tell me, we are not cowards. But because the fact I wanted to bring Miriam is because there is chakula. Wako na chakula. The person weighs one, that me going to demonstration and I get a bullet and going home to cook my beans and my matoke. Let me go and cook and wait. Not because they are cowards, it's because there is food. But at home, if there was no food, completely no food, a person will stick up to the city square and say, kill me. Kill me. Because there is nowhere to go. I don't know whether I'm making some sense here. There is nowhere to go. Kill me. But now people have food in Uganda. After elections, if you come out and demonstrate against the elections, you will be on your own. What they do, they say, elections are over, we move on. There are other people who are fighting. You know what? Medium, there are other people who are fighting, who want to fight. There are other people who want to discuss like I am. I'm one of those who doesn't want any more violence, any more fight, anything to get in you. I want people to talk like we talk openly about our country. And even don't discriminate the people there who are leaders. They are part of Uganda. Because when you come to talk about Uganda and then you say, when I take power, you will see. You think Museveni will leave? He will not leave. You must say, you have a package in the next Uganda that is coming. You are all Ugandans, but we need to change a few things so that our country goes better. And that is the type of politics that Raila Amolo Odinga is trying to bring here. Not the type of politics that William Ruto is trying to bring in Kenya. Raila Odinga says, all of us are Kenyans, but we need to be together in order to enhance and face the challenges that are here, that are facing Kenyans, that are soaring prices, which is not our problem. The soaring prices are manufactured by Wesonga's Food Index and John Jones and others in the Wall Street. It is not Uhuru Kenyatta. No. It is Ukraine. If the wheat, which is the biggest thing eaten all over the whole world, there is no country in the world that does not fight because of bread. Show me one. Show me one. Did you know that? Learn something from me today.
It's a crisis.
Even in the Bible.
It's a crisis
Even in the Bible.
Egypt. Mm-hmm.
Yes, Miriam.
Even Egypt, yesterday I was reading a story on the BBC where they're facing a crisis, especially the Middle East countries, and even in Africa and indeed across the world. It's a crisis that has been created by the war. But Doc, there's something this story raises here that perhaps I'd like for us to look at. The insecurity that has been perennial, that has been ongoing in Baringo. And people asking there, where is our senator? Where is the president? Anguished villagers endured the wrath of merciless killers call for help from a government that seems to have left them to their fate is an unforgiving land of fear and poverty, and areas like Kosile, Yatia, Chemoi, Chepkemoi, and Kagir are Kenyans' forgotten battleground, according to this, and guns have replaced a common sense. This is something that has been ongoing. I know the Ministry of Interior, the government has come out and made statements before, and but something, I don't know if something is being done or what is really going on.
Miriam, briefly, and I surrender the topic to others.
Okay.
The problem of Kapedo Triangle and the Baringo Siguta Valley and the Keio Valley has 4 planks. 4, and mark me, 4. 1, the nyamachoma we eat in Sagret. If you follow it,
Doc, Sagret will sue you.
Okay. Okay, the nyamachoma we eat across Kenya, where every Kenyan stops his car, and the first thing to find he stops the car near nyamachoma. That's one problem. The second problem is the poverty that is prevalent in that area. That's a key factor that has brought insecurity. The third problem is mindset. The people don't want to change. The people don't want to change. They want to look at a cow as the only means of survival. Because their leaders have not made them change. Do you know there are certain parts in Baringo where you cannot access? If you can find a man called Chebukati does not know where 3G polling stations are, how can you expect a Baringo man, a man in Baringo, who doesn't know how a mobile phone looks like, to be able to be a good citizen? Mindset. The last factor of Suguta Valley, Baringo, and the Keio Valley, and the Kapedo, those areas, is external influence. External influence. Medium. Those are 4. And I want you to draw a big circle on the 4 on your paper. Beef, poverty, mindset, and external factors. Now, below this, there is one factor called resources, hot gas, hot springs. Are we together, all of you on the panel? And you realize that the area where the cows are being stolen most and where there is insecurity, there are more hot springs. Do you have any hot spring in Isiaya? Or
No.
Do you have any hot spring in Nyeri? God gave you the mountain, but did he give you Nyeri, your hot springs? Why are hot springs in Kapedo, Siguta Valley, Keio Valley, Maragat? Is Maragat in your place? Okay, what is the factor, external, the biggest factor that corrupts that place? Are the people who came and did geological survey of this country called Kenya. And Miriam, and all of you on the panel, I want to ask you, Wesonga, don't Google. I know you are very quick while you are hidden in the behind there.
I just Google, Doc.
Yes, don't Google. Now I want an answer of it. Which country in the world, in the metros, that did the geological survey of Kenya?
That is Germany.
Wrong. Kiruga? Kiragu? Okay.
Yes, I think French.
Thank you very much, darling. You have scored it. God bless you. The British came and colonized Kenya, but the British never did any geological studies in Kenya. There is only one country that was specializing in geology to know where is hot spring yaka kako wapi hot oil. Did you know that when you people were born, all of you on the panel, did you know, even including me, did we know that there was oil in Turkana?
No.
Miriam,
No.
did
We
you?
read in
Yeah, go ahead, Wanyango.
in early syllabus, Kenya education system, they used to say there is no oil in Northeastern.
Yes. Why? It was hidden by the French. Go and check out. So why is it? And Miriam, you have that side, you have drawn a circle around those factors. What is the influencing factor why a conflict will never end in this region? Resources. What are the resources? Oil and hot gas, like a Cape Delgado. Have you seen Cape Delgado, Mozambique? Did we know that there was gas in Cape Delgado in the Beira Triangle? We didn't know. It is part of the eastern volcanic axis. When the volcano went through Ruvuma, Nachingwea, it poured everything down there in the Beira Triangle. The conflict has just started 2 years ago. The conflict in that area has those 4 components and the main person. And I want to tell you, Miriam, I want you to research on this. The whole of that region of Baringo, Siguta Valley, Capedo has 1,200 NGOs. All of them are briefcase. Did you know that? God, I didn't know that some people here you don't know. They are all briefcase NGOs. And there is only one country. And only one country. Have you seen? Only one country. Ask any of those guys who are rolling this 4x4. You find written some wash hands, another one, and these white Land Cruisers. Ask them, who is sponsoring you? The French. Miriam, why does it always come near elections? Why? Why near election? And now the type of bandits who have come are not the type of bandits who used to come. This one, the others used to steal animals, and if you stop, they kill you. But these ones now come to classrooms. Have you seen? They come to classrooms where there are no animals, disrupt students. Shoot the target. You see, in security, they call it, they have changed their target to now any moving object.
Yeah, so it's no longer just the cattle rustling now.
Cattle rustling, yes. Thank you. It's now moving. Anybody, they see Onyango, anybody, Marisa, those are now not cattle rustlers. So the government of Kenya needs to move very fast to cut off a very terrible scenario that is developing around Gideon Moy's area and Professor Onyang somebody. What is that? My friend Tiati, that area of West Pokot, Tiati, that area there about around there, Mount Elgon there, as it starts, goes to Kitale. The government needs. Have you seen over that media someone saying, you think you can beat me around here? You will see. That person, when he talks like that, he has a plan B. If I'm wrong, I'm again a giraffe.
That's why there are guns used by military in Laikipia.
It comes up today. Why is it that no? Let me ask. Why is it that Natembeya was the most hated man in the whole Rift Valley? Not because he's a Luya. That could be a small element, according to Ruto, yes, and Murkomen. Because Luyas and those guys we have never been together. You see, our traditional friends have always been the Onyangos. That's why you see Raila Amolo Odinga is strong. Obote is strong in the Bugisu. That he has died, but he has left an offspring here. Who will never say he's not a member. Even if you have brought 600 guns shooting me at a go, I will say I will find my maker, and I will find my founding father of Uganda People's Congress, Dr. Apollo Milton Obote, lying in the grave. I will tell him I have been killed as a UPC member. Never. We don't change. So, why was Natembeya hated? Why was, when Natembeya was there, he was checking on these guys. And some people did not like Natembeya. You know that very well. They came on this national TV and they told you, Miriam, that Natembeya must be removed from the Rift Valley. Didn't Ruto say that? Didn't Murkomen say that? Murkomen wanted to fight Natembeya until Natembeya said, come, bring it on. I'll show you the way. Why? They know something that we don't know. The government on this one, in summary, on the Daily Nation, has raised the figure, Mr. President. Something is very strange in that area, which has these factors, and another one, external factors. That when Natembeya said we chased the bandits with cows and they disappeared towards, maybe I'm concluding for me. They disappeared towards, because I've left you to be mentioning that one. I'm also a coward. Thank you.
All right. And would you like to say something on the situation of insecurity in Baringo, Paul, before you go to Daniel?
Onyango.
Yes, sir.
Would you like to?
Go ahead. You have been given the floor.
The insecurity in Baringo.
The Baringo issue, it dates back even from the first president, Jomo Kenyatta. There used to be a famous member of parliament, Mr. Lotodo.
Yes, that is West Pokot.
Yes.
That's Kapenguria, Lotodo. Yeah.
Yeah. He told his people that castle wrestling is our tradition. We should not depart from it.
Which is the mindset.
So, if a member of parliament from that time until today, until the time he died, he told his people that we are supposed to remain in our culture. The way Olentimama told the Masais, don't leave shukas. Vama shuka. So the problem that for Kapedo area and Turkana, Baringo, those areas they need government intervention, such that schools, churches, and institutions be open for people to start changing from the old tradition or the mindset to the new generation of life. I think Museveni did it well with the Karamonjong, so they can copy with what Museveni did with the Karamonjong. Karamonjong also behaving the same way. But when Museveni provided schools, provided water, provided everything, things have changed in northern Uganda. So our case may not be exceptions. That's my take.
Thank you so much. And I think the key word there is government intervention. Gladwell, how do you feel about the situation? People from these parts of Baringo are feeling as though they're children of a lesser God.
To me, Miriam, as Doc has said, I will first term it as ignorance and poverty. Like a while ago, we can see like the Kenya Red Cross Society. It was transporting and carrying 96.8 metric tons of relief food, but it was blocked by the residents and turned back at Marigat. So I think they also got a mentality that it's like they have a bad mentality that they need to change. Also, and we can see Baringo, it's a little bit productive because at Marigat, we can see they produce 4,000 tons of honey every year. And we can see Ms. Mwangi helped the farmers adapt the modern honey production, but did they really adapt it? So I think it's all the issue of poverty and more so on the mentality they have. They got a very terrific mentality.
Okay, Daniel Wesonga.
Thank you so much, Miriam. And of course, I agree with both my sister Gladwell Kirago and my brother Paul Onyango that, when you look on one side, there is the culture bit, and also there is illiteracy and maybe ignorance on the part of the Pokot, or maybe those people who participate in banditry. But Miriam, the biggest aspect of this culture is actually the economic bit of it. It's like a pyramid scheme. In as much as these bandits are maybe given the mandate to go and raid homesteads and steal animals and get paid for it, there's another senior person who at the top there actually takes the bigger profit by selling these animals for meat and maybe even some being exported outside the country. So you have to ask yourself, who actually provides guns to these bandits? The fact that the bandits can be able to maybe escape even the dragnet of the most maybe experienced police officers and other security agencies and be able to maneuver through the intelligence systems, it tells you that they have the patronage of a very, very well-connected or maybe very well-managed individuals in this particular country. And the reason why they, unlike what my brother Paul has talked about the Karamojong in Uganda, unlike the plight of Karamojong, which has actually ended, which has reduced with intervention from the government. In Kenya, we have a separate scenario where we have key powerful individuals who are the beneficiary of these banditry attacks, and therefore that cannot be killed until we are able to investigate and be able to know who is financing banditry and where these livestock are ending up to. More cows are stolen in their thousands, but we never ask ourselves, where do these cattle or maybe where do these goats end up in? These cattle and maybe goats end up in our butchery in Nairobi. Some are even exported in outside countries like, in the Arab world and all the other maybe flourishing markets where meat and hides and skins are needed and other livestock products. Therefore, it is a multi-million enterprise, Miriam. And at the top of this industry, we have the cartels which supply the bandits with guns, which supply even intelligence to bandits, and which even sometimes go to an extent of training these bandits. You realize that, we had the cultural bit of it, we had also the ignorance bit of it, but the government has done so much in those particular regions through our security agencies and the provincial administration. You realize even when we had the motorbikes now coming into the market, the border, the motorbikes are duty-free at the moment. And you realize that most young men in those particular areas in Baringo, Elgeyo Marakwet, and West Pokot were able to get these motorbikes and be able to earn an alternative source of income. So you realize that many of them actually were able to forego banditry and start maybe riding the borders and being able to earn a living. At the end of the day, they get their 500 shillings, 300 shillings, 800 shillings, and they're able to call it a day and they are able to reform from banditry and surrender their guns. But whatever is remaining now today is actually the core and the biggest problem of banditry, where we have key individuals who are benefiting from it, and actually they are the financiers, they are the perpetrators, and they are the patrons of these particular retrogressive practice. There is an MP in West Pokot who purchased a chopper. Miriam, how much does an MP earn? How much does a chopper cost? Not less than 300 million. Where did he get money to buy this brand new chopper? And just recently, you saw an article on one of the leading newspaper that a white chopper was seen actually supplying arms to the bandits in the hills of Baringo, or maybe an area around there. Who is the owner of this chopper? What were they doing maybe in that particular mountain, you know? There's another story of where a chopper belonging to a senior politician in this country crashed in some of the areas around Turkana and those particular area. What was the purpose? What were they pursuing at that particular time of the night in that particular area? So Miriam, there's more questions than answers to this particular practice, and more so owing to the fact that perhaps maybe with the efforts from the government, in education, in availing facilities, like water, like educating them, about the retrogressive nature of the culture, and also giving an alternative, maybe activities that will generate these young people an income. You realize that this problem has been persistent in Kenya, and not because the people of Pokot or maybe Samburu or Turkana or maybe Elgeyo Marakwet are not, or Baringo are not maybe adamant to government, but because we have an economic aspect of banditry. Remove the economic aspect from this entire thing, and you will not see any banditry attacks happening in that particular region. And the only way to do away with the economic aspect is actually going for those people, the big shots at the top of this hierarchy, at the top of this food chain, people who benefit in their millions, in their billions from this flourishing industry. And then you'll be able to tackle these menace. My brother has talked about the late Honorable Ochodo, and I believe if we will scratch the surface a bit deeper, he told the people not to stop with the culture. But if you were to scratch maybe a bit deeper into the surface, you realize these are the same politicians who are benefiting from the practice. Once these bandits have been able to steal the animals, they will be given peanuts, but the politician will gather all the livestock and he will go and sell them to the Kenya Meat Commission, or maybe even put them over for exportation to Somalia, to Qatar, and other meat-consuming Arab states. And they will earn millions from them. And that is why many of them are rich, and the people who practice banditry have never gotten out of poverty. When you see a bandit being paraded before the public, they are not rich people. Why aren't they rich, whereas they are still animals which could wreck them millions of shillings, Miriam? It is because it is like a food chain, it's like a pyramid scheme. Those at the bottom do not benefit, but the benefit goes all the way up to the guys at the top of the scheme. And these are the politicians, these are the financiers, and these are the sole beneficiaries of it. So we get away with this economic aspect, we get away with the leaders and the perpetrators of these banditry attacks, we shall be able to handle the menace. Because I believe these bandits are people who live a life of maybe, let's say, even below 200 Kenyan shillings a day. So if you give them an alternative source of income, they'll be able to give up on banditry. They'll be able to focus on other better things. But because even the leadership of the Rift Valley itself, starting with the deputy president of this republic, has refused to sit down with their people and be able to solve this problem since independence, then I believe there is no solution that can ever come from outside. Remember, at the end of the day, the government sometimes is also, in some aspect, an outsider in this, because if the local community leaders cannot be able to sit down and solve the problem, then we can never have a solution to this particular problem. And the reason why they cannot be able to sit down and solve the problem, it is because they are the same beneficiaries of this banditry. And Miriam, that is where the problem lies. If we are able to approach it from such an angle, then we shall be able to solve it. Otherwise, maybe blaming culture, blaming illiteracy, and all these other aspects, I believe they only cater for less than 20% of it. 80% is with the politician and the beneficiaries of it. And it is all economic, Miriam. I submit.
Okay, thank you so much. A couple of things that, Daniel, you brought up, and the rest of the panelists, before we move on to our next issue, and we move on to the topics that we had lined up for us today.
There is Javan Karanja.
All right, Jevon, go ahead. But I also wanted to give my thoughts on
Jevon,
this issue.
good morning.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jevon, go ahead. Jevon, good morning. Can you hear us?
Jevon Karanja, are you there or you are busy? Come on.
All right. When Jevon is able to come, I think probably he's having a bit of an issue with his connection, but we'll have him on as soon as we can. Daniel Wesonga, you're saying the government in this regard is coming off as an outsider. Why would the government be an outsider? The responsibility of a government is number one to protect the lives of its people and the country. That is the responsibility of a responsible government like we have here in the Republic of Kenya. This is not Somalia. This is not Nigeria.
Miriam, let me just expand.
No, let me just finish with that, and then you'll come in and respond. The government cannot be an outsider. The government has a responsibility and a duty to protect its people, politics aside, all right? And this is no longer about banditry. These are criminals. They're shooting children in school buses. Do we not remember the story that happened the other day? They're burning houses. It's no longer just stealing cattle. This is a criminal venture. And there's no way sitting here as a citizen of this republic, you will convince me that the government does not have the intelligence. We keep talking about these choppers that are seen landing and leaving. You mean to tell me the government does not have that intelligence? It does. In this region, the government of Kenya, its intelligence, it's top-notch, it's good, it's excellent. And that's why I sleep at night in my house comfortably, because I know the government in this country has its security on top, and it's doing all it can to ensure that I'm safe and other Kenyans are safe. Let's put politics aside as we sit here and talk politics, and politicians don't even care. I haven't seen Gideon Moi, the senator, a very influential politician from that area, making this a national conversation and talking about this. He's failing his people. While we politic and talk about these other optics, what in the meantime are these people supposed to be doing? There are issues to do with drought. There are issues to do with famine. There are other issues, all right, that I believe with goodwill the government can address. And I think in the process we've seen a few things the government is trying to do, but it is not enough. And we have to say it as it is. And if there is an insecurity in this country, the rest of us should not be comfortable. We have to speak on it. The government has to do something to protect the people, the lives of these women and children who can't even sleep in their homes. This is not northern Nigeria. This is not a failed state like Somalia. This is not South Sudan. This is Kenya. And we have to call the government up, not call it out, but we have to call the government and ensure that it does its first responsibility to the people of Kenya, and that is to protect the lives of the people of Kenya, regardless of where these people are.
Yes, thank you so much, William. And
Wesonga,
yes.
before you come in, answer both of us. I think I 100% agree with Miriam today. 100%. This is not Nigeria. This is not northern Nigeria, where we can watch our people perish. Yet the people who have these helicopters are known. No. A helicopter to come into the Kenya airspace, the airline down here, the radar system at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport will pick the helicopter. Whose helicopter it is? Registered to who?
They have the intelligence. The Kenya's government has the best intelligence in this region. They're able to pick these things.
Unless someone has defeated us, and we call it a day, because someone seemed to be saying, going out of the country and telling the world that this is, you know what Ruto said there? Cartel, the cartelism, a cartel system that it has captured It is a captured system. So does he know who captured this system? Can Ruto tell us who captured this system? And if so, can also the government come out and tell the people of that area that these bandits have sophisticated nuclear weapons? That we start now running undercover, digging deep trenches to cover from nuclear. That this nuclear might not arise from Ukraine, but it is going to arise from Kapedo Wesonga.
That nonsense from Mount Elgon, Doctor, when the government had a will to stop it, did it not stop? That nonsense from the south, from the coast, where they're saying Pwani is not Kenya, when the government had a will to stop it, did it not stop it?
Exactly.
We need a will.
In the coast. The coast.
Stop that nonsense.
The government, no, wait, Wesonga. We are not going to keep quiet. Our role here is not to bembeleshana. Our role is to say the truth, to help the situation. The intelligence system of this country is one of the best. It has improved the intelligence network of this country. The intelligence system gathering is one of the best in the last 7 years now, since the changes were made. And nobody will say, Miriam, nobody will say that is not happening. It is very good.
It's very good.
This intelligence is gathered and it is given to operational commanders. Why is it that it is not being utilized? And the people in Baringo are on the top of the radio stations, television, telling us
it is
that
unacceptable.
they are dying.
It is unacceptable,
No.
Doctor. It is unacceptable. It is
No.
absolutely unacceptable.
I agree with Miriam, and I believe Miriam has brought out perhaps my point, but with choosing the right words, I believe I used the wrong words in bringing out my point, and I retract that and I apologize. And I totally agree.
You did not use the wrong words.
No,
you used English.
No, he said the government in this instance is an outsider. The government cannot be an outsider.
No, someone we are eating ourselves. We are eating meat. We go to this Sagrit and Haman meat. Meat is the cheapest in Kenya. Why is the meat so they can sue me if they want in Sagrit? Why beef in the world?
Yeah.
Kenya's beef is the most.
It's the best. It's very organic.
It's the best beef in the world.
We have to speak on it, though.
It is the cheapest in terms of monetary. Why is the Kenya beef so cheap? It's because of this Kapedo triangle thing.
Yes.
How? You tell me.
And maybe
you go to the correct corner where Songa, where Songa, let's bring this story here to shame people.
Yes.
You go to the correct corner at 2 a.m. I am an investigative journalist. I've done a research up to the correct corner at night. You look at the wagon is releasing cows. Onyango, you are near there. The wagon is releasing cows. How do these cows get permits to be loaded in Eldoret? Unaona the whole panel is quiet now. Miriam ameleta hii kitu, wacha tutoboe hii kitu itoke nje. Your cow, who loads the cows in Eldoret?
But right now the military is in charge.
Yes, the military. Since the military came in charge of KMC, some people now have gone into to disrupt the peace there, and they say, okay, since they have refused us to sell our cows the way you used to do, let's show them here. Have you seen the tactic that the guys have done? Onyango and Wesonga?
Yes.
That is it. Back to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Dr. Matsanga. And I absolutely agree with you very strongly, and Miriam as well. And thank you, Miriam, for bringing that out quite well than I would have done. And maybe my point was that, in doing their intelligence gathering, the government actually depends, first of all, on locals. So whatever the government gets is actually what they listen from what locals tell them. Even when they pursue the bandits, It is from the locals to tell the government, here is where they went to. This is the cave that they were hiding in. So at the end of the day, if the locals do not give the right intelligence to the government, then we actually put even our intelligence agencies and our security men into some kind of risk. Just like, for example, today, Miriam, today, if you have a problem in your house, maybe let's say your son is doing something that is not quite in accordance with the law, not unless you go to the authorities and report it, the authorities might never find out about that particular problem. The same way, if I have a problem, even maybe with one of my siblings, doing a wrong thing that might be against the patriotism of this particular country, and I do not go to report, then, you know, it puts me first as the first in responsibility in going to report, and secondly, the government now in doing maybe its homework and maybe establishing. But you realize it would have been much better if I, as the person who is affected, who has the first contact with this particular kind of injustice, first goes to the government and assist it in actually helping to protect me. I agree with you quite strongly that the first mandate of the government is to protect the lives and the people and the property of the people of Kenya. But also, we as the people, when you put it in a strata, we have the right and the obligation to actually assist the government in carrying out its mandate. And that is where the notion of having the preventive mechanism in security comes in. Preventive rather than maybe the counter maybe mechanism where maybe the government, you know, the government in most cases, perhaps if it does not get sufficient intelligence, it will only act to counter the threat that is there. But if we have people in the society going to report on these bandits, going to report on the intelligence that they have been able to get in first-hand information, then we shall have a preventive mechanism. And remember, that is the strategy that is used even to thwart terror attacks here in Kenya, in Israel, and many other countries where the risk is actually high. So if we can be able to look at it that way, in that the community, first of all, has the responsibility on reporting on these instances and reporting on people who are involved in banditry, then we shall have maybe an advantage over the bandits. Because remember, some time back, we lost 42 of our security men, the police officers, the GSU officers in Baragoi, simply because they were lured into the hiding of the bandits. And the people on the ground probably knew that we have caves in this particular place. And
Oh, we apologize for that.
They do not come from families. They do come from families. We do have people in their families who know that so and so is a bandit. They always go to a certain region and come back with animals. Just the same way, every family knows that we have someone in our family who is a thug, you know. They always maybe come here during these hours of the night with these kind of situation scenarios, you know. They know it. Their wives, their brothers, their mothers, their fathers, their cousins, their uncles, their daughters, their aunts, they know that these people are involved in banditry. But why don't they go to the government agencies and report on them so that it makes the work of the government easier in arresting and prosecuting these individuals? Even the politicians who engage in banditry, their family members know, their next of kins know what they're engaged in, but no one is willing to report them. So you realize that the government in this particular scenario is actually a third party, whereas we would have people who are patriotic enough. This was basing on the social contract that Dr. Matsanga always talks about. They go and report on these particular matters. Dr. Matsanga has just talked about the people who load these cattle in lorries in Eldoret. Why can't they go and report? The people who actually transport, who offer transportation services from Baragoi, from Samburu, from Elgeyo Marakwet, from Baringo, from West Pokot, all the way to a safe distance, maybe in Nakuru or in Nairobi. Why can't they go and report? And therefore, the government always has to rely on somebody. Remember, even in the intelligence gathering, you need to have a source and you need to have an informer. And not unless these people on the ground are willing to also do their part, and which is the most critical part, then we shall not have a breakthrough, because it will be akin to risking even the lives of the men in uniform. And that is why even in battles, they say that first of all, win the hearts and the will of the people, and then you'll be able to have breakthroughs in every battle that you encounter. Otherwise, if the people themselves, the people of West Pokot, the people of Baringo, the people of Samburu, the people of Turkana, are not willing to work with the government, then the government might not be able to do its work effectively, Miriam. It will stumble upon obstacle after the other because of not cooperating. You realize that in defeating the Sabot Land Defense Forces, the government had a breakthrough simply because even the people themselves were tired of the brutality that was being meted on them by the SLDF militias, and therefore the people in West Pokot were cooperative, and whoever that was not cooperative was actually met with force and the same strength that the SLDF was meting on the people, the poor people and the innocent people in the Mount Elgon region. The same thing happens with Al-Shabaab in Somalia. You remember when KDF moved in Somalia, it found out that Al-Shabaab has been torturing people, it has been raping women, it has been mutilating people of their limbs and, meeting them with all kinds of atrocities. And therefore, the people on the ground were actually willing to give up the Al-Shabaab militias amongst their family line. They were actually able to give intelligence whenever called upon by the military officers and be able to assist in being able to track and be able to defeat the terrorists. And that is how they were able to liberate a big portion of Somalia when they entered during the Operation Linda Inchi.
Okay.
So to me, I think the people of West Pokot, or the people of the Kerio Valley, come first, then second, the government.
No.
But I agree totally with you. The government has the mandate.
The
The
government
government comes first. The government has to come first. The cooperation of the people is vital, but the government has to take its place. The government has to come first. We can't take that burden and put it on the people. That is the government responsibility. Cooperation with the communities is good and it's vital, but the government has to come first. It must. We cannot excuse government on this.
Miriam, let me make a comment
ahead,
on
go
the
ahead.
issue. I wish the same energy we have as Kenyans to condemn things. For example, I can't remember, it's yesterday or the previous day when Cosmo Choi in his rude utterances, we Kenyans, we are so mad. And I wish the same energy we have, we can unite and raise our voices against Baringo security. We are Kenyans, we are under one government, we are under one leadership. And the only difference between maybe the Central and the Rift Valley, maybe because of the fertility of this region. The other issue for example, the Karura Forest Road, people were so mad because she was a foreign diplomat, and that's why the issue was raised. But what happens when we as Kenyans, we are in trouble? The government, for the government to be honest, it doesn't act as fast as it acts to matters concerning maybe some foreigners or maybe rude utterances towards the people in the government. So I think we also Kenyans, we should wake up and also raise our voice. We also need to be heard.
Right. And we love our government. We just wanted to respond to some of these things that are important to the people of Kenya so that we are all, as I sleep in my house comfortably, another Kenyan is sleeping in their house comfortably, because if one part of the country is insecure, the rest of us, we shouldn't sit comfortable and treat it like that is just an issue of Baringo. No, this is a matter of national security, and it should be treated as so. Doc, as we move on to the next item. It's not there. Paul, would you like to add your voice to that before we move on? Onyango.
Yes, I wanted to come with a different point on the same, but Dr. will build on it. This part of Rift Valley, if you look at the past government, especially Daniel Arap Moi's government, the security agencies were saturated with men from the same area. So you find the government of the day, some of those officers are retired people. They may be part of the cartel that is causing most of these problems. Some are in the intelligence service, some are in the mainstream security agencies. So one of the challenges that when you want to dispense with a report of intelligence, some of you like, for example, the time of Baragoi. You remember that man called Waiganjo. Waiganjo was a civilian. He was a reservist, sacked, brought in again. He was being used by some people within the police force. You remember that case?
Mm-hmm.
Similar, the same things could be happening. That's why you find there's a lot of challenges with how to dispense with the security intelligence report. There could be some people within the system. Once a report is supposed to be dispensed with, some other people create other what? They leak the information. You find when people, the security men are deployed, like what happened in Laikipia, we were told that the bandits are using superior weapons better than what the police are using. So these are some of the challenges that the government need to look into it properly. It is just not more than the people themselves. When you look critically, people from this area, many of them, well, there are so many people who worked in the security office. They know how the government operates. So it is upon the government of the day to up the game.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Even as we wait for Dr. Matanga so that we look at, I know that issue was not even part of our lineup today, but I think it's important and it was about time to speak on it because something needs to be done. Doc, Chevan, would you like to say something to that? Chevan, good morning.
I got cut off.
I apologize. Chevan is, I don't know if he's there or not, but go ahead, Doc. We were sort of done with that topic, so we wanted to look at the topics that we had today, and I think a part of our conversation also touched a bit on the topics that we had lined up for today, as we are to look at the politics, economy, and social. So we've sort of looked at that, and then after that we go on to the rest of our politics and other news from across the world, and we will end with the war in Ukraine and the effects of COVID-19 and what next. A lot of countries now are easing up some of these restrictions that had been put in place in line with COVID-19 guidelines. So, Doc, maybe you guide us from here, moving on.
Thank you very much, Miriam, for that. I'm sorry for the mishap. I missed out the other part. We left a hot debate, and I believe Paul Onyango has cooled it down because the point we have here now is that we have already touched on one of the topics, the hot topics. You cannot avoid the crying voices of the people of Capeto and Baringo, and more so, the leaders who are campaigning come from the same region. Two of them come from the same region, Ruto and Gideon Moi. They have to call on the government to take necessary steps to either wipe out this, cordon this area, encircle this area. Unless we are saying we leave this problem over and over and over again. Miriam, I want to tell you that the same is happening in Uganda at the moment. The Karamoja side
have started. I've been reading some news.
The people coming with cows from this side
okay,
are now going there with the stolen cows and the guns. And the Uganda side, the president has ordered all the battalions in Karamoja, northern part of that country, to now start disarming village by village. You know, that is, so the bandits, if Kenya also started from this side, the bandits will have nowhere to go. But surely with all these latest equipment, the latest type of guns that I see with commando units, you cannot press this problem and finish it. I saw the other day on Uganda television. My dear, if you're a cattle rustler there, you must say, you know what, you are caught and you are labeled a cattle rustler in Karamoja at the moment. My. You will not touch a cow again. So we did it in Mount Elgon. Why can't we go here?
We did
The
it
army.
in Pwani, Kenya. Those.
Yes. Why can't we go this way? These people are becoming terrorists.
Yes.
And
These are
after
criminals.
election, they are criminals.
Yes.
They are no longer cattle rustlers.
They're not bandits anymore. They're not cattle rustlers. Yes. This is a criminal enterprise. Why are they banning schools? Why are they targeting school buses? Why are they banning homes? They're not just stealing the cattle. There's more to this. There's more to this, and we need answers. I think there's more to this.
The intelligence has done its job very well. Earmarked, brought out the cars, the helicopters, the things that drop these things in that place. The intelligence cannot go and start fighting. Next is the police force and other people to go in, paramilitary, livestock, and everybody, and the army, if possible. The president can ask the army to go in and say, if they hear the army is coming, these guys will run. But where are they running? In Uganda, the army is chasing cattle rustlers who are running with cows. Some of them abandon the cows behind and the guns. So let's use this opportunity and smash that problem. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And Doc, yeah, before we, yes, I think we're done with that issue. There's another story here that I think is very important because it's something that we've been talking about before. It's part of the politics that we've been looking at. So let me bring it to attention very quickly on page 13 on the Daily Nation. The Electoral Commission does not know the number of polling centers that lack 3G network coverage with just 4 months to the August 9th polls. Although the Supreme Court nullified the August 8th, 2017 presidential election on the basis of internet connectivity, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission has done little to address the
Miriam,
page 13 of the Daily Nation.
Can I give you a summary of in one paragraph? If Wafula Chebukati or if the IEBC does not know the predicted issues, how will IEBC know the predictable outcomes or consequences of 2022 elections? Is that if, let me repeat, if the IEBC does not know the unpredictable, does not know the predictable items like the 3G tallying centers and the polling stations, how will it know the unpredictable, which we don't know? When you are doing strategic management, which I have now finally, as I told you, I'm writing my paper from July. I will be writing my paper, so don't call me. Finally, my exam for the master's degree, another one in strategic management. My professors have told me, you must always know the predictable ones before you wait, which you are helped. Online, I've been doing it online quietly. I wake up at 4. You ask why this man is online at 4 a.m. While the London people are sleeping, me, I'm not sleeping. I work. Unpredictable items are the most dangerous items on the planet Earth. And the Chebukati has now qualified. Those who have been saying Matsanga is a very bad man, talking about Chebukati is a Ugandan. If this election is bungled, Uganda will stand to lose. Kenyans will equally lose. If Kenyans fight because of a bad election, where the managing director and the CEO and the chairman don't know where these items are, yet Mr. Chebukati is telling the DPP to arrest criminals who break electoral law. Yet Chebukati wrote a letter distancing himself from working with the DPP and the courts. They even embarrassed Chief Justice Kome. You remember the letter they wrote to Kome? All Kome wanted to know is to sit in the team, to know how many of these conflicts to also be versant, very versant, conversant with the electoral process. But Chebukati, on the advice of his party, or his group, or his henchman, who advised him to bring the papers from Greece, decided to chase away these institutions. How will they work? How do you now cooperate with DPP? Why do you write to the DPP when you chase the DPP away from your committee? Bitungine Jamen, it is us ourselves. We prepare this election. For me, Miriam, I've been telling people, and I've been talking here, and the people have been calling me names. But if it goes through nicely, well and good. But if it turns out to be bad, then call me.
Doc.
And I say, Matsanga, you are right.
I think these are very serious matters. And at this point, I don't know if IEBC is really ready to hold an election. I don't know if they're prepared enough. And if not, I think they should be honest with Kenyans and tell us what's really going on. Because, Daniel, even yesterday, the committee members were shocked and they warned IEBC boss that he appeared to have not to have learned from the little history, from judging from where we've come from and the acrimonious elections that we've had in the recent past. And we know that the transmission of presidential results from polling stations to the National Tallying Center is by law supposed to be done electronically. This was a major sticking point in the 2017. So the other day they came and told us that over 11,000 polling stations do not have the 3G. And then yesterday, Chairperson Wafula Chebukati is telling us he does not even know where these polling stations are. So how did he arrive to the number? Because you're supposed to do the mapping first, know where these polling stations are, and then come and tell us, okay, 11,000 polling stations don't have 3G coverage. Did he just guess? Because they don't know where the centers are. They don't know where the centers are. What does this mean?
Exactly, Miriam. I agree with you. IBC seems to be acting just out of maybe approximations, guesswork, and, out of the oblivion. And that is very, very dangerous for such a body, and you understand how elections are perceived here in Kenya. Elections barely stop everything in this particular country. And the elections have always been the bone of contention that has led us to ethnic violence each year, each electoral cycle. And therefore, Miriam, I'm in agreement with the committee that Wafula Chebukati seems not to learn from the previous history since 1992. That, Bengal elections have always led to violence and loss of lives and the property of the people of Kenya. But however, Miriam, I would also want to know, why did the committee now just realize recently that Wafula Chebukati is actually out of order? Dr. Matsanga has been talking about this thing, if I remember, since 2017, as soon as the presidential elections were bungled. And no one has been paying attention, Miriam. Even when we talk about this particular matter on this particular show, I believe it's like a monotony. It has become like monotony now because we talk about it day in, day out, but no one puts their emphasis on following up with whichever maybe information we bring out, whichever suggestions and ideas that we bring out in regards to the elections in this particular country. Until now, Miriam, right now we are only 4 months to the elections. There's only little that we can, there's only much that we can do because 4 months to the election, even legally, the constitution actually constrains IEBC from making any drastic changes that will ensure that now there is some kind of solid maybe overhaul of the IEBC itself. So I think the stakeholders in this particular scenario have actually failed us big time. IEBC has failed us, but the people, like that committee which is supposed to keep IEBC on its toes, it ought to have done such a sitting maybe 2 years even before the election, even 3 years before the elections. But they had to wait until this week is when they are raising such kind of concerns. Miriam, I think there's hypocrisy in this country. There is laxity and there is ineptitude that only God can maybe save us from, whatever our institutions are actually showing the people of this country. But like I've always maintained, and like Dr. Matsanga always says, we as a country are not ready for the elections, because IEBC and our Wafula Chebukati is actually going to lead this country into a political mayhem by actually not putting up structures that can oversee free, fair, and credible and verifiable election. And like you put it, it's actually not possible to, just come out and give out statistics, whereas homework has not been done to ascertain which polling stations have the capability, which ones do not actually have the capability. Mapping has to be done. And this involves even doing a test run and just seeing if this can actually be done. Because you could be saying that it is 11,000 polling stations, whereas we have others which could fail as well. So IEBC has not done this, and it's actually out there giving numbers and talking about this and that and requesting funds here and there. It's a big failure on the side of Chebukati. It's even a much bigger failure for the people of Kenya, because at the end of the day, we are the ones to bear the brunt of flawed elections in terms of violence, in terms of even maybe the possibility of having a repeat election, which means we're going to have more money being spent on a repeat elections. And with the biting economy, Miriam, I cannot even fathom where we will be as a people.
Okay, so now Mr. Chebukati does not appear to be confident about the election preparation. He doesn't have many things at his fingertips. That is what Makueni Senator Mutula Kilonzo observed, challenging Mr. Chebukati to take charge of the situation. Mr. Marjan said the commission had shared the GPS coordinates of the 11,150 stations with Communications Authority, out of which 456 were returned. He said the action of the regulator could mean that only 456 of the initial 11,150 are outside network. So they did not even bother to talk to the Communications Authority and understand what the figures that were returned to them even mean. So even here it's just guesswork. Also yet to be determined is the fate of the additional 2,800 centers used to register new voters that have been earmarked as new polling stations. Out of this, the Commission has shared the coordinates of the 2,603 centers to the Communications Authority to determine if they fall within the network. So even this other 2,800 centers that are supposed to be determined to be added to the already existing ones have not been decided on yet. Okay, just 4 months to the general election. Gladwell Kiragu, what are we staring at?
We are staring at is the election. And as you've said, I think the IBC should come out clean and say they're not ready for this election. Instead, can they stop involving us innocent Kenyans in big games? Because what we're heading to is the election. If they conduct the election, it'll just be a messy one. And our the economy currently the current economy currently is not that well off. So when they conduct that election with no directions, it will just be messy. So I think they should come out clean, tell us they're not ready, and we Kenyans will definitely understand instead of subjecting us to a mess that we live, like the 2007-2008 election. It was a mess that Kenyans are still not yet to recover. Some of the people still have the trauma. So we are not ready for another trauma currently as Kenyans.
Okay, and others have not even healed, probably needs even therapy or something. There are people who have been suffering and have suffered out of bad elections in this country. So you're saying we don't need any additional bad election in the offing. Paul Onyango, your thoughts on this matter, IEBC and its preparedness in line with the upcoming elections in August?
Okay. My take is this. Since the announcement of 2017 election, Wafula Chebukati has not proved to be a competent IEBC chairman. I think he should have not even conducted this election if it were in other democracies. First, he has not obeyed, the commission he's leading has not obeyed the Supreme Court order to open the servers. He has not complied so far. Then he wants to conduct another election. Second to that, there's always a report IBC normally prepares regarding the conduct of election, the last election. IEBC has not told us so far regarding the rulings of the Supreme Court, what is it that they are able to achieve and the ones they are not able to achieve and why? So if we still continue with the circle of saying this, that excuses, the only thing I know Chebukati has been crying is about funding. But I don't know kama hii funding depend na hizi zile vita zijafanyika. I don't know whether it is not possible to do other things other than funding that he has been crying for. So he's going to put us in a very difficult situation. The same things or the same issues that arose during 2017 Supreme Court case. Some of them will still come up again, even very seriously. So if by now, you cannot tell how many polling stations don't have a 3G network. It doesn't have. The last time he told us that the areas that do not have the 3G network, the satellite phones. So the satellite phones that were there, where did they go? That made the Supreme Court says that they were the ones they made the elections to go in the wrong way. Chebukati did not confirm any satellite phones that were used in any polling station last time. Right now he's quiet. He wants us to complain or he wants us to election not to be done. The best thing Chebukati should have done, if he found it so difficult not to work under the conditions he's in now, the best thing he should have done is to resign, let somebody else carry on with the elections. Not sit there to appear like you want to do it, you earn the taxpayers' money for nothing. We are paying Chebukati, we want value for the money, the salary is earning with the commissions. It's a value, we want good elections. We want peace in this country. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Back to you, Doc.
Hey, Miriam, I think I am one of those humble people vindicated today. Yesterday, God is never left me. Whatever I talk, people insult me. But Miriam, it comes out to be true. Yesterday, Mr. Chebukati himself took to the dressing table and said he doesn't even know where these locations are. Then why are you asking for the money if you don't even know the locations? To do what? In order for this money to go to each location so that you find them? Why did you then write a letter excluding the rest of the people? When a committee was going to be set, media, that committee was going to help. It was going to help to know this type of problems. It will not help to rig elections, to know this type, IT. So the IT people have gone back and said, okay, it's all right. Have you seen what is happening in Kenya today? Raila, Mzee Raila, wake up. Iko mambo hapa. Either we cancel, this thing needs to be cancelled. Iko shida. Tupate miezi ingine to prepare better elections. Me, I will not be shy of talking it. This is not an election. This is a shambles. I don't know whether I'm talking alone.
No, we are there.
Medium seem to have gone.
I'm still there.
Medium.
We're here, Doc.
Medium, are you still there? Oh, okay. This is not an election. This is shambolic election. This election is a shamble. Let's cut it. Let's tell Raila haki. Mzee, usikubali hii maneno, hapana mzuri. The parliament is still there, going to sit up to the last day. Wacha parliament ikae chini iamue President Uhuru Kenyatta imupatie, it gives Uhuru Kenyatta
We apologize for that. We seem to have suffered a bit of a technical hitch from Dr. Matsanga's side with his connection. Doc, we're having a problem with receiving your reception. All right, as you wait, I don't know if Daniel, you can hear me. Very well. Daniel, can you hear me? Daniel is also gone, but I think Onyango is there. So would you like to say something as we wait for Dr. Matsanga to come back? We seem to have had a bit of a technical hitch from his side. So the connection is having problems this morning. We apologize for that. The points that Dr. Matsanga was bringing up, should we just go to an election for the sake of going to an election, or should we make sure that everything that is supposed to be in order is in order, so that we don't have a repeat of what we've been seeing happening in the recent past?
Yes, that's why I talked of election report. After every election year, normally IBC prepares an election report detailing where there were areas of concerns and areas they need to improve, or areas that they did well. So if there's anything that was left behind, they could improve on. So it's quite amazing. Until this point, Chebukati is still struggling with the main issues that were there in the last election, which means this election will not go far. It will not go to the extent that we need to. It will not go to the extent we need it, the level at which we need it to reach. So it is not proper for Chebukati to continue sitting there. That's why I said, if he finds it necessary that he cannot continue working under the certain conditions, the best thing is to resign, somebody takes over and can steer us to the next level of election. Instead of waiting, we are complaining, same things will arise, we will not have a country to stay in. Maybe as money will run to another country. Maybe there's a duplicate of Kenya, but for me, I will stay in Kenya because this is my home. But sometimes I may lose my life because of election issues. So Chebukati needs to understand where we came from since 1992, these election problems. In Kenya, we might be having these issues of banditry and terrorism that comes once in a while. But election issues are very emotive. It causes a lot of problems. It chases away the investors. So you'll find that our economy will be going down. So if we can conduct very good elections, everybody is, everyone that has participated in election get satisfied with the outcome of the election, we will find a peaceful place to stay in, and we continue with our everyday work. So my call is I'm just calling upon Chebukati. He should hear our cry that he needs to conduct an election. There's no need for him to come and ask for money. And yet the very fundamental things that he needs to do, he has not been done on paper. So there's no need for him to ask for the money.
And I'm sure he understands. So maybe he just needs to come out and be honest with Kenyans and say, hey, this is where we are. This is what we've been able to do. This is how much we still have to do. I think he should come out and be honest, with Kenyans, instead of coming up every now and then in these press conferences and trying to look as if everything is okay. And from all these reports we've been hearing and all these things we've been reading, everything is not okay with the IEBC as far as the preparations of these elections is concerned. So maybe it's about time he came out and be honest with Kenyans and tell us where they are as a commission, all right, in line with the preparation of these elections, because
as you said there, Onyango, everybody, every stakeholder, every politician who wants to, who will give their names, because they've not yet, the official submission of names have not yet started, want to come there even if they lose, but they want to know there was a level playground. They know I've lost, but I've lost fairly. Are you all right? I've lost, but it's not because there was a technical issue with the transmission. There was this and that. We don't want that. I think we already have enough when it comes to our electoral process that is already very, very sensitive, all right, and very emotive, as you've said. So with bad preparations of the elections, that will only make it worse. So I think Chebukati needs to be honest with Kenyans and tell us exactly where the commission is at as per right now as far as the preparations, and then Kenyans will decide, do we continue no matter what, or do we look for an alternative? But I don't know if the Constitution even allows for that, because I think that is written, that is it's cast on stone in the Constitution. But at least I'd like for him to be honest with us and tell us this is where we are, and this is still how much we need to do, and tell us if they'll be able to do that before August, so that we know as a country where we are at, even as the campaigns continue. Gladwell.
I think we should bring Chebukati on board, because I think there's some questions you need to answer. Is IBC being influenced to generate results, or is it democratic to our Kenyans? In the past, we've got issues with IBC officials, some getting murdered, like Chris Msando, others resigning, like Ezra Chiloba. Is it because of the pressure of coercion to provide the results? And also, if they conduct the current election, will the same still repeat itself? With the trauma Kenyans we have been having since 2007 to 2008, will it still repeat itself? Will it have its tail? So I think we should bring him on board. He needs to explain, because each and every day we're having issues. IABC this not being ready. So we need to get our answer straight, and we need to know what it has for us, Kenya.
All right, thank you, Doc. I see you back. Your connection it's afternoon. It's top of the hour. It's not very good.
It's a very good Friday for me. It is. I am bumped off, because people don't want me to say my.
All right, you're bumped in now. So your thoughts before you're out again.
On the IEBC.
Yes.
Let the MPs call a special session. That the head of state call upon the parliament, that given the type of management, preparations, organization, logistics that are inadequate. I'll write the petition. I'm very good at writing petition if people have not seen. Aware of the difficulties that Kenya has been going through, very cognizant that this could result into very terrible things, that some of us could start going under Indian Ocean, that this election therefore presents a dilemma. Either we hold it now, or we postpone it for 3 or 6 months. Meanwhile, a transitional government can be performed under the presidency. Yes, the president can use invocation of his order, look at the circumstances, and say I'll reform a government of national unity now, and that government will be one to prepare a free, transparent, fair elections. Otherwise, you're gonna kasoro. Right now, I know some people will not like it. They want to assume power. We all want to go to power, to State House, but how do we go there in a war zone? Right? People now who are saying Chebukati is very good, at that time they will turn around and say it's very bad. Even if you try to tell him, but Mr. The other time you said don't touch Chebukati, he will say, no, I didn't say it. What didn't we? So please, Mr. President and others at the government, you are seeing what is going on now. The man does not know where 3G is located. So this, do you know, Miriam, do you know this is the area where this guy is going to bring more ballot papers from Greece? More ballot papers from Greece, which have already been marked. We could have a problem. Imagine there are more ballot papers coming from these unknown 3G areas. What do you do? You have voted very well. Your candidate is about 990 million under 20. Then another man arrives with 90 million under 400. We are done. We are done. We shall just need Kofi Annan in the middle. We don't want to have Kofi Annan in the middle.
Kofi Annan is not even there. He's not even there anymore. Kofi Annan, Benjamin Mkapa, they're not even alive anymore. So I don't know who will...
Kofi Annan, the late Kofi Annan and the late Mkapa,
they're not
we
there.
don't want to have Michelle.
And we don't want Obasanjo coming here for sure.
No. That will be even worse. So let's do it now. Let the ODM and the Jubilee party sit down and ask their other counterpart. This thing is not very good. You go back to Parliament. Parliament has powers. It can now sanction the president to say we can postpone for some 6 months, while the main purpose is to arrange an election. A transparent election. Ndio Raila awende kwa State House mzuri sana. Tutaki mambo. If server bado fungua. Mnaleta server ngine on top of the other one. Ala. No. Data. The Dutch company says, I have not received the data. Automofo says, nilipe kwanza. Nilipe. So, what will stop another man going to Automofo to say, nipatie hiyo, give me that data? Miriam, have you seen where the trick is? Catch. Nipatie hiyo. Give me this Automofo. Please, you have given to the Dutch. Also give me. Give me. This is $2 million. Nipatie. Anakuja anakaa Kampala. Throws all areas of Raila Odinga data. Indian Ocean. Tunaamuka huko tena tuko ubaya. We are finished. For some of us could even bleed openly. If you hear that Ruto is the president, I don't know where I will be. I've been given a notice. Onyango, the other time you did not give me notice when we were on opposite side. But these guys now in the Ruto area, they have given me notice. You know, I'm trying to seek Kiruga to help me, that we can have a shortcut now.
Now, very soon the curtains will fall.
They better follow quickly and nice. But the way Miriam has been explaining here in the newspaper when we are reading, the curtains seem not to be going to follow nicely, Miriam. They will follow. We want to win nicely. We don't want to win with Ika. Jamen, I don't know what the point you are, whether you are seeing my point. Raila is going to win an election. We want him to win square and clean. Wahesabu kura ya huyu ako na milioni 11, Ruto ako na milioni 7. So he cannot say that this was this, that. That's it. Aende kwa opposition Sugoi, akwe leader of opposition. He can now do business with Harun Eyadin. Very nice. That's what I'm saying.
All right, Doc. And just when your network was affected, I was just saying that perhaps, Chebukati should
have the press conference that he normally has, but this time be honest with Kenyans and tell us this is where we are as a commission. This is how much you've been able to achieve. This is still some things that are still pending. And then tell us, are they able to do that? All right? Like right now, they've not even cleaned up the register. He should tell us that, you know what, even the cleaning up will be done against the Constitution. He should come out clearly and be honest with us. And then we know as a country, this is where we are. So now how do we deal with this? How do we address this matter moving forward? Because we can't just go to an election for the sake of going on to an election. It has to be proper in line with the Constitution. Okay, so we move on now. It's about 9 minutes past noon here in Nairobi, East African time. And we look at the other topics from across perhaps Africa, and then maybe the Ukraine war, and maybe what stood out for us this week as the show is Unfiltered, and we usually look at the week that was across this week. Yes.
Miriam, before you go, there's a new development that has just arrived.
About Wetangula or Moses Kuria's brother, I don't know.
What has happened? Wetangula has gone?
I don't know. The people are saying that he could be joining Azimio, but these are not. I don't know if one is a credible source. They're just rumors. They have not been confirmed. It's just rumors.
No, there is a hive of activities at Jubilee House.
I hear.
Looks at it. Even the head of state is about to arrive there.
I hear Moses Kuria's brother is heading there.
Yes. Moses Kuria's brother is standing against Moses Kuria himself. Because Moses Kuria's legs are not functioning.
Okay. And Wetangula, have you heard? Or these are just rumors?
I have, Wetangula. No, Azimio can spoil its image.
Okay. So what is the breaking news? Sorry, I interfered with that.
Breaking news right now is the International Criminal Court. The prosecution has closed its submissions. Mm-hmm. And the court has gone to weigh the evidence they will return. And from my source inside, around May, in May, Kenya will change. That's all I want to tell you. So it is going to be read. That is the one that has just come now. The Daily Nation has said close. The prosecution cannot close. The court has had submissions from all. Now the court has gone, and it will give the new timetable within a month or within 2 months, when the judgment, the judgment, not sentencing, when the judgment will be read to weigh the evidence that was both presented by the defense and the prosecution. So do you think some people are going to eat food now? Or food is going to be very slippery in their stomachs? That's all I wanted to bring to your attention. The one at the Jubilee House is very simple. The one at the ICC looks very, very dangerous. Yeah. That's all. That's the news I got. Mm-hmm. But what I know is that at Jubilee headquarters, there will be Kabogo, who has, you have to make a decision today. Either you belong to party X today or Y today.
Hold on. The deadline is 26th is tomorrow, right?
Yeah, but you have to do it today.
Yeah.
If you are not in a
I've seen Kabogo saying that he's not joining the Azimio. I've seen him say so, that people should stop the propaganda.
No, if he doesn't come, nobody wants him. But he will not have, if he doesn't decide he has a party, he will stand as a party. He has a party called Ubeba Party.
Yes, Tujibebe.
Tujibebe Mubebane na watu.
But Esther Gathogo, she has joined the Jubilee.
Who?
Esther Gathogo.
Who is Gathogo?
She's running, I think, in Ruiru.
Yes. Oh, yes, the very the UDA lady.
Yes, Esther Gadoko.
Yeah, that's very good. There is a lot. I have seen a lot of activities around they are showing on TV, a lot of activities around Jubilee House. So many people there. So
But
the activity, yes.
if a lot of Nyanjui goes against Moses Kuria, we as the Juja people will be in a mess and also confused because there's a hype also in Juja constituency that is not going on well.
Kinyanjui is the brother of Moses Kuria.
Yes, he is Alois Kinyanjui.
Oh, all right. There we are. The strategy of the oligarchs. Hey, the strategy of old men. Don't play with old people. Old men like us of 67, graduate. We are very good people. We look after the younger generation so well. So you can see for yourself. The Korea now has been taught this. If your own brother is arguing with you, and your own brother who did not even come to see you at the hospital.
Is he the same brother that used to chair CDF?
No, this is a bigger one who was in DCI.
But there's another man.
This one was in the police, DCI. The director is one of the senior directors there. He resigned. Now that is when he is going to reveal to us how much Kuria has stolen. So, Miriam, in a nutshell, before the wires go off again, I wanted to pass my word like this. COVID, Ukraine, the war in Ukraine. First, on Africa, I wanted to pass our condolences to my comrade, Jacob Oranya, the late who died of cancer in Seattle Hospital, who was the Speaker of National Assembly of Uganda. He was a younger man below us in the party of Uganda People's Congress. Apparently, not every member of Uganda People's Congress who was in the party before, who switched sides to NRM, has survived. That's all my word I can say for now. All of them seem to have perished. They seem to have not listened to some of us, that Allah, that place might not be your place. Oranya was not well, was sickly, and I'm told he had cancer. So they could not do anything much. They could not change the bone marrow. He was too weak for that action. So here he is no more, is gone to rest. But today the Parliament of Uganda is selecting a new speaker, which the odds, we don't need even to say who is going to win, but the ruling party has fronted the former deputy speaker, the lady, who now becomes the speaker. She will win. And the opposition has also put candidates, but I don't think the opposition has chances of winning. We leave it as Ugandans and the East Africans, and we wish the family of Waranya a peaceful, graceful morning until we meet again. Thank you. Now, across the world, Miriam, Ukraine issue has affected the soaring of prices across the globe. The effects can be felt in the bakery down in Nairobi, in Uganda, in Kenya, in Africa. Entire Africa, the bread prices have gone up. In Britain, the bread prices have gone up. But the only thing is that Britain has a reserve for 200 years. So you want to feel to take from It is reserves down that they dug down underground. You can imagine a country stores food for 200 years to come. For us in Africa, we don't even have one to store for 1 week. And we are busy politicking, wasting money, buying new helicopters. So we have a problem here. Now, why I brought that question of COVID, Miriam and the panel, I want you to think very hard and before you answer my question. Why is it that all of a sudden COVID-19 has disappeared and the Ukraine war is on the top? Doesn't something occur very strange there? That nobody is talking about COVID-19 except Kenya. A lady came to update us. The rest, nobody is talking about. The world, everywhere, in Britain, nobody is talking about the COVID-19. They are now talking, the whole world actually. Even America, you don't hear of how many are dying in COVID. Are people still, that's what I wanted to ask, are people still dying of COVID? Is COVID still there or not? Miriam, back to you.
Maybe because we've achieved herd immunity, and I think the vaccination has helped. So the number of people who are getting infected, is not as much, and even if they get infected, is mild because of the vaccination. And also, I think people are just fatigued. At the end of the day, we have to go back to our lives because COVID is here with us. COVID is not going anywhere. So I think we're just learning to live with it.
Okay.
But maybe the vaccine has helped. Gladwell?
Yes.
Go ahead, Onyango, go ahead.
Okay. For me, I'm a bit skeptical of the ongoing in the world. At one point, China and the United States government were pointing fingers at each other, the source of COVID virus. China was saying Americans were using COVID to destroy their economy. On the other hand, Americans were saying COVID was started by China to destroy the dominance of Western countries all over the world. Now, at this particular point, we Africans, I go back to our neighboring country, Pombe Magufuli. He was the only African president, maybe the only president in the world, who said there's no COVID. I don't know whether he has been vindicated. Even upon his death, many things, even the people close to him, many people were rumoring around that they might have passed on due to COVID. The facts I don't have, but there's more question to ask in the world: what is happening and where are we heading? That's my take. Daktari?
Yes, thank you very much. For me, I believe that we should safeguard our mouths, our breath, our hands, wash our hands, keep a distance until such a time that everybody looks at the other and say we are clean. Let's not lower our guard. There is still COVID, and especially the bad weather coming in the months to come in Kenya. I think we might see some cases coming back, God forbid. But as Miriam said, the immune system had the herding, is it called the herding system?
Herd immunity. Majority of people already has contracted COVID. So.
They have the COVID, so COVID injections and the vaccine. So we are all now moving, but don't remove your mask in public, in places where you feel. Don't go to a nightclub and start swallowing beer, Gladwell, and you know, spirits these days. You ladies, I can see your tables are always full of drinks, different assorted. Keep a distance where possible. Listen to music and go home, but don't lower your guard. I think it is a very dangerous thing still around, but I am shocked how it all of a sudden went off the international indexes and crashed. It went lower. There was no more trending. I don't know. It's very sad. As I might agree with Paul Onyango to some extent, that China was fighting for prominence, or it was trying us that I can only release a gas which can make all of you panic. So what about if I release the nuclear weapon that can finish the whole world, except China? See? You never know. Because I have never been very comfortable with the numbers that have come from China, to be honest, you people. There has been something very wrong, fishy there. The numbers remained so constant for a long time. Miriam, you remember when you used to call them to announce the number, the Uganda, this, that, you see. So thank you very much for me. From my side, I don't have anything much. I want to thank all of you. I want to thank Gladwell. I want to thank Paul. I want to thank Wesonga, Japan. Above all, I want to thank Miriam for hosting us this week. Sunday, 2 p.m. East African Standard Time with the best shows of Africa Showdown. Don't miss that. Don't miss it. It is better after you have gone to church. You can relax at home and give your contribution. Back to you in the studio, Miriam.
And I'll do that, just that. With your permission at home and give my contribution. Thank you so much. We'll see you on Sunday. Bye-bye.
Then I will hold the fort. Okay, so that you can have it at home